Hey guys, and welcome to RawrMelodies and Taviface reads Candle Cove. This is a creepypasta, and I hope you enjoy. Begin.
Alright, nostalgia film, television, local. Star Sale 033, subject Candle Cove, local kids show? Does anybody remember this kids show? It was called Candle Cove. It must have been 6 or 7. I never found reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 1971 or 72. I lived in Ironton at the time, and don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on at a weird time, like 4 p.m. My Painter 65, subject read, Candle Cove local kids show. It seems really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland, and I was 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove, was it about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of the cave talking to a little girl. Style show 033. Yes, okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always kind of scared of him. He looked like he was built from parts of other dolls. Really low budget. His head was on like an old porcelain baby doll. It looked like an antique, but didn't really belong in the body. I do remember what station this was. I don't think it was WTSF though. Jaren 2005. Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Stashiel. I think Candle Cove ran for a couple months in 1971 or not 72. I was told, and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was channel 58, whatever station that was. My mom would let me switch it to after the news. Let me see what I remember. It took place in Candle Cove. It was a little girl who imagined herself being friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called the Laughingstock, and Pirate Percy was an very good pirate because he got stared too easily. And there was a calliope music constantly playing. Don't remember the girl's name. Janice or Jade or something? I think it was Janice. Stat sales 033. Thank you, Jaren. Memories flooded back when you mentioned the Laughingstock in channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship. It was a wooden smiling face, with the lower jaw submerged. It looked like it was swallowing the sea, and it had an awful Ed Wingfate voice and laugh. I especially remember how jarring it was when they switched from the wooden and plastic model to the foam puppet version of the head that talked. Mike Painter 65. Haha, I remember now too. Do you remember the pirates? Do you remember this part, Stashel? You have to go inside. Stashel 033. That's what the ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go in, like a cave or a dark room where the treasure was. The camera would push in on the Laughingstock's face with each pause, like, you have to go inside, with his two eyes astune and that floppy foam jaw, and the fish line that opened and closed. Oh, it just looked so cheap and awful. You guys remember the villain? He had like a face that was like a handlebar mustache, above really tall and narrow teeth. Kevin Hart. I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when the show was on. Nightmare Fuel. Jaren 2005. That wasn't the villain. The puppet with the mustache. That was the villain's sidekick. Horace Horrible. He had a monocle too. But it was on top of the mustache, and I used to think that meant he had only one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette, the Skin Taker. I can't believe they let us watch back then. Kevin Hart. Jesus H. Christ, the Skin Taker. What kind of kids show were they watching? I simply could not take a look at the screen when the Skin Taker showed up. He had descended out of nowhere on his strings. Just a dirty skeleton wearing a brown top hat and a cape. His glass eyes that were too big for his skull. Christ almighty. Wasn't his top hat and cloak all sewn up crazily? Wasn't that supposed to be like supposed to be children's skin? Yeah, I think so. Mike Painter. Yeah, I think so. Remember his mouth? Don't open and close. Just jaw slid back and forth. I remember the little girl said, "Why does your mouth move like that?" And Skin Taker didn't look at the girl, but the camera said, "You grind your skin." Sashell 033. I'm sorry to leave the other people remember the show. I just have an awful memory. A bad dream I had where the opening Nemo ended and the show faded in from black. No characters were there, but the camera was tugging to each of their faces. They were just screaming. The puppet and marionettes were playing spasmodically, just screaming and screaming. And the girl was just moaning and crying like she had been through hours of this. I woke up many times from that nightmare. I used to wet the bed when I had it. Kevin Hart. I don't think that was a dream. Remember that. Remember, that was an episode. Special 023. No, not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, literally, just standing in place, crying and screaming for the whole show. Kevin Hart. Maybe I'm manufacturing the memory because you said that, but I swear to God, I remember seeing what you described and just screamed. Jaron 2005. Oh God, yes, little girl Janice. I remember seeing her shake and Stentaker screaming through his gnashing teeth, his jaws grinning so wildly. I thought it would come off with the wire's tinges. I turned it off and it was the last time I watched. I ran to tell my brother and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. Mike Painter 65. I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about when I was little in the early 70s and when I was 8 or 9, and if she remembered a kids show, Candle Cove. She said she was surprised I could remember that and asked why, and she said, because I used to think it was so strange that you said, I'm gonna go watch Candle Cove now, Mom, and then you would tune the TV to staff and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. What a big imagination with their little pirate show. The end.
End of story. Okay, let's give some opinions on this.
What do you think of it, RawrMelodies?
It's really well written, and I like how the setup of it is like an old like thread kind of, and I like how the ending kind of leaves everyone with this little air of mystery, and I like how everyone seems to be talking about the same thing, yet it never existed. And yourself? Wait a minute. Thinking back on this, it's pretty well written, and this is about, it's pretty creepy, and, well, that's about it. I'd give it about a 7 or 8, 7.5, and that is all for today, and we will see you next time we read. Goodbye!